In January 2025, we traveled to Japan and spent 7 days on the Izu Peninsula. During this time, I planned to rent a car for about 3 days. Since we were traveling as a family of 3, I thought renting a car would be more convenient. It was my first time renting a car in Izu and also my first experience driving in Japan, so I'd like to share my experience with you. You need to bring these to rent a car in Japan: international driving permit, passport, and phone holder. In some European countries, you can rent a car with just a US driver's license, but in Japan, you are required to present an international driving permit. Obtaining an IDP is simple and costs about $20 at your nearest AAA office. Bring your driver's license, 2 passport-size photos and the necessary documents prepared in advance, and the process will be quick, typically completed within 5 minutes. Write: the effective date of the IDP begins on the date of arrival in Japan. It is valid for 1 year, allowing you to reuse it for travel to other countries within that period. And the rental company will need to scan your passport as ID. Additionally, since Google Maps works very well in Japan, it's a good idea to bring a simple phone holder for use in the car. Renting one from the rental company will likely incur an additional cost. US rent car companies are charging very high, so I recommend to reserve directly at the website of Toyota Rent-A-Car, Nissan Rent-A-Car, or Nippon Rent-A-Car. It is conveniently located near stations in Izu, where major rental car companies in Japan have branches. However, the rental prices are relatively high. You can compare prices on tabirai.net/car, a site mainly used by Japanese people to find cheap rental cars. You can select the language to English so you can check it out. There are many rental car companies around the station, so enter the station's name into your search to find one. Note that there is a company called CarStar Rent-A-Car, rentacar.carlyfastadium.com, that operates both a gas station and a car rental service. While they offer cars at a low price, they do not accept international driver's licenses. Similarly, car sharing No Times Car, share.timescar.jp, requires a Japanese driver's license for registration, making it challenging for foreigners to use. If you're planning to rent a car in Izu for about 3 days, I recommend starting from Atami, which has the largest selection of rental cars. I was able to rent a car at a very affordable price from ones-rent.com, conveniently located right in front of Atami Station. While the cars may be a bit older and color options are limited, the vehicles performed perfectly fine without any issues. However, you might need to understand Japanese to make reservations and handle returns smoothly at this location. But they can speak English, provide English explanation, and are very kind for foreigners. If you make a reservation at the Atami Station branch through the ones-rent.com website, you will receive an email confirmation. I initially calculated the cost to be 13,860 yen for the base rate plus 2,200 yen for deductible insurance, totaling approximately 16,000 yen for 48 hours. However, when I visited the branch, the staff informed me that foreigners cannot purchase deductible insurance. As a result, we rented the car for 48 hours without insurance. Since our US credit card included travel rental car insurance, additional coverage was unnecessary. The Izu region is relatively rural with minimal traffic, so the risk of accidents felt low. The staff carefully explained everything, checked the car for existing scratches, and handed over the key. The person in charge was very kind. When we decided to extend the rental by 24 hours, we applied for an extension over the phone. It was straightforward, and we simply paid an additional 5,000 yen upon returning the car. In the end, we rented the car for 72 hours at an extremely affordable price of 18,000 yen, about $120. While I ended up with a pink car, because I had only booked a day in advance, it didn't bother me at all. First, when you rent a car in Japan, take a moment to familiarize yourself with its controls. Japanese cars have the steering wheel on the right and the gear shift on the left. Since most cars are automatic and use only D, R, and P, the position of the gear shift isn't too awkward. It has a side brake too. The accelerator and brake pedals are in the same position as in the US. One key difference is that the turn signal switch is on the right, while the windshield wiper control is on the left. When turning or changing lanes, you'll need to use the right-hand switch for the turn signal. Once you get used to this and the feel of the car's accelerator and brakes, adjusting to a rental car in Japan becomes straightforward. In Japan, you drive on the left side of the road, which means making short left turns and wide right turns. For left turns, you generally cannot turn on a red light unless there is a specific sign indicating otherwise. Additionally, the Tomare sign means stop, so you must come to a complete stop for about 3 seconds before proceeding. Driving on the left side isn't difficult if you focus on following the traffic flow. The Izu area, in particular, is easy to navigate, has no highways, and Japanese drivers are known for strictly adhering to traffic laws, making the driving experience less stressful. Just stay attentive, and you'll adapt quickly. Even in rural areas without marked lanes or visible traffic flow ahead, always remember to stay on the left side of the road. The gas tank is usually filled up, and you're expected to return it with a full tank as well. At the Once Rent location I used, they provided information about 2 nearby gas stations before returning the car. They also requested a receipt to confirm the tank was refilled. One station was full service, and the other was self-service. Since self-service stations are cheaper, I recommend using one. At a self-service gas station, start by opening the fuel cap. Depending on the car, there might be a button near the driver's seat or under the driver's seat. Once the fuel cap is open, select your payment method on the screen, cash or credit card. If you choose credit card, you'll be prompted to insert it. Next, select the fuel type and choose Montan, full tank. Insert the nozzle, and before fueling, touch the hand-shaped icon on the screen to begin. After filling the tank, you can print the receipt. If you're using a credit card, the process is simple, so there's no need to worry. I rented a car in Japan for the first time during my recent trip and adapted without any issues. Since we were traveling to Izu as a family, renting a car was much more cost-effective and convenient. For example, it was cheaper than paying for bus or train fares for 3 people and offered flexibility. We could leave immediately, transport our luggage easily, and adjust our schedule to suit our needs. If you're traveling with a group to a rural area with less traffic in Japan, I highly recommend renting a car. It's both practical and efficient.